Patrick.
Yeah.
Want to welcome everybody in. Just taking a little look at some NASCAR trucks. A couple of weeks ago, we had Jenna on here. She had two amazing races, and then we ship them down to you. Tell us about the trucks down there this weekend. Holy cow.
Well, when the trucks come to town, you know it's going to be a good show. And then when you've got these racing families, so if you notice the top three there, right, we've got Prince, Quali, Newhouse, these three purebred bloodlines of racing. And just watching those three do battle, I was so excited up in the booth. It was crazy. But you know it's going to be a good show, good racing. They race clean, the trucks. And so if you're like us, if you're a junkie, you're going to enjoy watching it. And so I just had a blast, and then you stack that with all the other classes. The late models were there, and, we had fun with the Bombers and Hornets and things. It was just a great night at the track.
Yeah. So while you guys were down there in sunny Twin Falls, we were getting rained on in Meridian.
Yeah, we heard you guys got rained out, and we were like, let's go because it's probably coming our way. Yeah. And it definitely was not sunny. It was gray, and I was just like, just hold on to the rain for now, and somehow we got through it.
No, that was pretty cool. My only thing with Mother Nature was if she was going to rain us out, I wanted her to rain us out by 3:30 so I could come hang out at Twin Falls. But she waited like 4 extra hours just to rub it in my face.
Of course.
But yeah, the truck's putting on a heck of a show. 4 big main events this year. 3 of them won by Miss Jenna Quali. And another one of them that we just saw there is one of our guests tonight. I'm having an issue. There he is. Mr. Andrew Prince, putting on a show there. Andrew, welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming in.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to come on and talk with you.
So, like I told you earlier, I hijacked your mom's video. It was either your mom's or Adam Nelson's, but your mom had a really good view, and I knew she was staying right on the number one. Tell us about last weekend, man, and then we'll get into a little Andrew Prince racing history and all the good stuff here. But tell us about last Saturday night.
Yeah, no, we unloaded the truck. Didn't feel it need to do morning practice. Quite a few trucks were out there in morning practice, so watching them, I was able to kind of get a pretty good idea of how the track was. Early races in the year, there's never really any grip, and going into this race, I assumed there wasn't going to be any grip in that track, and there really wasn't. First practice and second practice, we were really good. I think we were second quick, and then we were fastest in the second practice. So I knew we had a good piece for the main. In qualifying, I had no intentions of running a 15.7, and we ran a 15.7, and I was like, we'll take it. For what we had that night, it was a pretty good lap, and then 3 other drivers ran all the way at a 15.7 as well. And so I knew it was going to be a battle. As you saw in the first main, whoever got to the front, they were probably going to be able to hold on to it and win as long as they didn't make any mistakes. And so when I had the first main event go on, got out to second and made a mistake, and John got underneath me. And I knew from that point, I was like, I'm going to have to get going. And I made a mistake, slid back a little bit, and he started to come up a little bit. I had a little bit of PTSD from Meridian, kind of got pinched in the wall quite a few times. So when that started happening, I started backing out of it, and he ended up catching my nose, and it closed the ductwork off. And so halfway through the race, started overheating really bad, and I was actually getting ready to pull off the lap the caution came out. As I was backing it down, coming out of the front stretch, they threw the caution flag, and so the truck temps tooled down a little bit, and so I decided, 5 more laps, however much was left. I think it was 5. I was like, we'll just keep going, and it held together. Coming to find out now, we got to the shop, it caused some issues. Burnt up the water pump pretty bad, and so we'll have to replace that. But the second main event, got lucky with 2 trucks wanting to scratch, moved me up into 4th position. And looking at the 03 and Jeff, I know Jeff always gets really good starts, and so I was like, I'm in a pretty good position. Let's see if I can't, get the lead and see if we can't manage this race the way Jenna did. And sure enough, Jeff got a really good start, and we were able to follow him past the 3 truck and made my move underneath the Jeff and took the lead. And from that point forward, it was just run my line, don't make any mistakes, and we were able to do that. Jenna, of course, was all over me the entire race. Same with John. And I know, with those 2 behind me, I can't make any mistakes. They're they're both extremely good drivers. John's been doing this probably as long as I've been alive, and Jenna has been doing this for the last 4 or 5 years, I believe, and she's a phenomenal driver. And when you're coming to the truck race, those are two names you're definitely gonna have to look out for. And I had them both right in my rearview mirror for 35 laps. So.
They made sure that you knew they were waiting for you, right?
Oh yeah. They let me know they were there quite a few times. Every time I'd glance to my left, there was either a white nose or a black nose peeking below the other one. So
just waiting to pounce on you. We do want to remind the folks watching, we got quite a few jumped on right off the bat here. Throw some comments and questions and all through the night with Andrew, Patrick, myself. We're going to talk to Lacey from Hermiston Raceway here in a little bit, as well as Speed Tour sprint cars are headed down there. Then we're going to talk about this guy too, but we'll wait till our halfway break. But Ryan Bailey letting you know that the truck looks really good and he's happy to see you, but not near as happy
I'm glad
as we are to see him jumping in on the show tonight. So, but we got a little something for Ryan here in a little bit. But what about you, Patrick? What'd you think? Got the trucks kicking it off, and Andrew and Jenna putting on a show for you down there. Oh, you're muted or something.
How's that better?
You've never sounded better.
Oh, geez. Well, like I was trying to say, Andrew has nerves of steel and proved it because, like he said, having those two guys in the rearview mirror, that is pressure. And if you were watching that video we played right as we came in, you watched. So Jenna's right there, obviously. Any mistake that Andrew, if he would have made one, Jenna's in the lead.
Yep.
But also, Newhouse he's going inside, he's going outside, he's just looking for space, and he's right there as well. So one slip up, and Jenna, on the restart, I think Jenna had the lead, right? She had the advantage, right? And then one little slip up, and there goes Andrew, right? So that's how it was with the three of them. Whoever makes the mistake is gonna cost them. And Andrew he held his line, and you watch, like I was watching there, he was on his line, same place, every corner, every time, just whoop, 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 and everybody else was trying to make something happen. And like he said, he's the smart guy here. He knows how to run his truck. He did it, made it happen, and I loved watching every single lap.
Patrick was excited on Adam's video. Adam and Patrick met at the bottom of the stairs at the flag stand, and I don't know which one of them was more excited to be where they were.
Dude, I love it, man. I get such a good seat at the racetrack every week, and just watching stuff like that, I get so amped up. Sometimes I wonder if I need to chill out a little bit, but I love it.
No, trust me.
I enjoy.
After 22 years of doing it,
back.
if they want you to, somebody will tell you to chill out. I've been told a couple of times, "Hey, Artie, zip it up there. We're trying to watch the races." It's
awesome, man. But so like, did you feel like when you going into the night, Andrew, like, were you like, yeah, something's going to happen tonight, like I'm going to get it tonight, one of these two, whether it's a double main, or are you just going out there just hoping for the best?
Well, we sponsored the event with the trophies stuff, Highland Power Sports. And so I told my truck owner, and I promised him, I'd take home at least one of them. We were hoping to take them both home, but I had a lot of confidence. After Meridian, we got a lot of stuff tore up, and we were able to really go through the truck again and get, once the truck gets out on the track, it finally settles, and there's things that pop up that you couldn't have caught before while they've been on jack stands all winter. And so we found a couple of things that were loose here and there and fixed a few things, and I knew we had a good piece. But yeah, I was going into it with the confidence that I was going to win at least one of the mains.
So if that's the trick, then what event are you guys going to sponsor next?
Well, at this rate, I hope we sponsor the rest of them so I can win at least one of them.
There you go.
Hey, call the front office. We'll make it happen. You know what I'm saying?
We can squeeze you in. So Andrew, take us back. You got some fans down there. You got fans up here. But just run us through the Andrew Prince Racing history. What got you started? I know I've watched you. What'd you start here at Meridian? Junior Stingers, Hornets?
In I believe it's 17. Bill Allen, really, really great guy. Bill and Lisa, they've been great to me ever since we met, and we ran into them in 17 while I was spotting in the Royal Purple Modified Series. Todd Lebrone actually introduced me to him, and he had a race the following day. It was a 2-day show, and he looked at me, asked me if I'd ever raced before. I told him, yeah, I had some experience up in Pocatello. And he's like, well, my car is already here. Might as well put you in and see what you can do. And went out there racing against Taylor and Kendra Ochapente. They were extremely fast. So getting to get my feet wet at Meridian while racing with the likes of them, that was pretty cool. You know, I heard stories, obviously. The Ochapente family, they've got a lot of history out in Meridian Speedway. And so being able to race with their grandkids or Melissa's kids as well was pretty cool. And so we went out and battled with them. I ended up third. So that was where I got my start racing in Meridian. That's where I met you the first time.
Yep. So take us a little further back. We've talked a lot about family and, how the younger generation, how you guys get involved in this. What got that racing bug going, whether it was spotting or jumping behind the wheel? How did it all start?
Well, I think it all started, man, I couldn't give you a date, but ever since I grew up, my dad's always been racing. He worked for Thompson Motorsports pretty much through my whole childhood. And he was working with Brett Thompson in the West Series, racing up in the K&N, and then even up into the Craftsman Truck Series. And so I've always been around race cars and always been something that I wanted to do. But where my dad was always having to be gone every weekend with whether it was a client or with Brett or with whoever, it was really hard for me to get an opportunity to get into a car because it just didn't have enough time. And whenever, I think in like 2015, he started working with the Wrightsmas, Bill and Drew's, the two trucks that he's got now, Black Betty and Betty White. I helped him through the majority of the process of building those trucks. And so I got to learn it from his perspective. And so I kind of always had a feeling that I was going to be more of a mechanic crew chief. And then we were up in Pocatello helping the old track owner. His name is, his last name is Bailey. Man, I've drawn a blank here. We were up there helping him because he had bought one of the trucks my dad had built. Actually, I believe it's the one that I'm racing this year, believe it or not. He bought that truck and asked my dad for some help. So we went up there on a Thursday night, and they had a bunch of Hornet cars stacked along a fence. And he asked me if I had ever raced before, and told him no. And so him and my dad took me over to this 1977 Pontiac Le Mans, and it was a standard. I wasn't even old enough. I think I was 13. I had never drove a car before. And they told me, if you can figure out how to start it and drive it over here, we'll talk about you racing it on Saturday. And, it took me a while to figure out what the clutch was and that you had to push that in to turn the key. And so I finally got it started, killed it a couple times, and then did a big old burnout and drove right over their pit and was right there. And so he's like, we'll get you some gear. They had some old safety equipment in the in his tech building, put me in the car, and I went out and probably made about 300 laps that night until the tires blew and we finally ran out of gas to scrounge up from the track. And that's where I got my start. Ended up winning that race, my very first time ever in the car on the track with other competitors. We went out and won. And so from then on, I think I won 5 of the 7 races I competed in that year and the championship. And so from there, my head just kind of grew. I kind of, walked around like everywhere I went, I was going to win. And the next year we went to Twin Falls and started racing in the Hornet division there. And I won a whole bunch of races and won the championship again. And so we had 2 really, really good seasons to start my career. After that, I believe I took a year off for football. I was, getting a lot of looks in the college division or the college level. And so that was where I wanted to go. And so I took a year off. And then after that is when some people out of Pocatello that had been around when I was racing up there wanted my dad and I to spot for their kids in the Royal Pro Modified series. And so we traveled around the Northwest with that series, going to Wenatchee, Meridian, RMR, and also Twin. And so after that, I think I had quite a few years off through high school, just kind of fell out of it. It was too expensive for me to, afford a bigger class. The Hornets and stuff, they're always a lot of fun to race in, but I always wanted to go bigger. I wanted to race something else. And so that opportunity wasn't on the table at the time. So we kind of put things aside and focused on school and sporting and all that stuff. And then in 2020, I believe we started racing my old Hornet from Twin Falls. We converted it into a mini stock and ran it in Twin Falls 4-cylinder class, I guess you'd call it.
Right.
They had a bunch of mini mods. Yeah, they had a bunch of mini mods racing, and we had a bunch of front wheel drives, rear wheel drive Mustangs, and then eventually the next year was when we got the Pro 4, and I was racing the Pro 4 in that class. And so it was kind of just an open 4-cylinder show. And
Right.
Started getting a lot of attention from some other people that in my dad's past from all the experience he'd had racing. They started, kind of watching me and talking to me and stuff. And eventually we found ourselves in the Pro 4 racing up with Ken Chandler and Ryan, of course. And they kind of brought me in with open arms. I mean, at that point, my dad was really sick, and he was able to be there, but it wasn't really the same. He was really fighting to get around, so it was kind of hard for him to get up to the fence to watch me, to help me with what changes we need to make on the car. So the first year in the Pro 4s, it was just a great big learning experience. I wasn't too familiar with Meridian other than the Hornet I raced there a couple years back, but Pro 4s and Hornets aren't anything alike. So I might as well have been relearning everything again. And eventually we started getting the Pro 4 figured out and started running towards the front more rather than in the back. And just this last year, we decided to take it up to the Northwest Truck Tour so I could race with Drew and everybody, the people that I had grown up watching, because I idolized Drew when I was little with building it, helping my dad build his trucks and whatnot. Right. So the opportunity presented itself. Eric John, my truck owner, he owns Highline Power Sports and 111 Motorsports, which our race team is. He wanted to see me go out there and run in a real class, I guess you'd say, rather than in a Hornet or whatever. And so he got that truck, and the truck that I was in last year, the number 11, which we sold to Tony Frenetton for his boy to drive. He put me in it for that season, and I would say I had a pretty good rookie year. Won a couple races, was able to travel for the first time out of state to race. I never got to race on RMR or nothing. So getting to go up to Mission Valley, that track was just an absolute blast. Yep. I was pretty bummed that it didn't get put back on the schedule this year, but it is what it is.
Right.
This new truck challenge is awesome, so we'll take it. But that track I loved, and we went out there and finished second to Jenna, and then won the next race, and then got to go to Hermiston and experience that track for the first time, and that was Hermiston's definitely a different animal.
Yes.
So, but went up there and did really well, and so we sold this truck off and put me in the one truck this year, and so far I think we've done pretty good.
Nice. So are you focused on the trucks? I mean, I know the Pro 4 you started to gain there a little bit as well. What's the future look like? You're kind of into the truck?
Yeah,
sounds like?
I think we're just going to be in the truck this year. I just had a baby. She's 2 months old as of Friday, and so with her on the way, thank you. With her on the way, I told Mom that I wouldn't race anything that I was funding, and so we got Eric told me that, hey, don't even worry about it. Well, I'll put you in this truck. You deserve to be in it. I want to see you out there. I don't want you to have to take a year off or nothing. So that's the only way I was in the truck for this year. But so yeah.
All right. You got anything, Patrick?
Yeah, if anybody wants to sling him, come say hi next time trucks are racing at Magic Valley Speedway Meridian, and meet him up at the party in the pits afterward. Homeboy needs some cash for diapers, so hook him up. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Now, Andrew, you're looking at two guys that we each had one at one point. Mine evolved into 5 children in diapers. Patrick, you're at 4 now.
4, yeah.
So
that's a lot of
it's like racing, man. You buy an outlaw cart, and next thing you know, you got a late model and 5 babies hanging out in the living room, and then you become an announcer. So I don't know if we recommend that or not. Right? Who helps you out, man? I mean, I know you've mentioned a few. Tell us who's getting you around the track, and it looks like that NASCAR Truck Series is really anybody's ball game this year. 4 main events, 4 exciting races, but who's helping you this year?
Yeah, like I said, Eric John, first and foremost. He's a truck owner. He's put me in the truck. He's had the confidence in me to do this for him and to go out here and to perform. And I feel we've been doing a pretty good job of that. So I think Eric John with Highline Power Sports, 111 Motorsports. My father, Shane Prince, he's the brains behind everything. I'm just the driver. I also want to give a huge thanks to my mom. She's also I haven't let her buy much baby stuff, so she's been paying me back, I guess you could say, by buying a bunch of race car parts.
Tires
so
are
she just got me another set for this weekend, or next week, excuse me. So yeah, so those two, I want to thank a huge thank you to Bad Fast Engineering, Matthew Gorley with Commercial Tire. They dismount and mount all my tires and get me through that. That'd be pretty expensive if we had to pay for those every time. Because I mean, every race we're switching tires on wheels and getting different ones mounted if we bend the wheel or not. So they've stepped up and been able to.
Oop, we lost you. He froze.
Oop.
There he's back.
Hello? Can you hear
Now
me?
you're back.
Oh,
You just it's all right. You just spun out for a minute. You're back.
Yep. Yep. I also want to give a big thank you to Tony Fernettin with Highlight Mountain Logistics and Jordan Carpenter. He helps me in the pits. Without him, it'd be tough to get out of the truck and have to go check stagger and air pressure and do all that stuff. So
Right.
Jordan's been a great help at the track, and I absolutely love having him on the team. I also want to give a big thank you to Shade Malcolm. He helps us in the shop every night when we get off work. You know, he's right there to lend a hand to help us get the truck set it out, fix the damage we got, and a big thank you to anybody else that I haven't forgot to mention. You know, Bill and Lisa Allen, they help me out when I come into Meridian, and so Rebel Racing as well. So,
And somebody wants to know about that black eye. I was going to leave it, but looks like Pops wants to see it.
Yeah, you should see the other guy. No,
That's all you have to say. Yep. Because normally, if I end up cut or swollen, I did it to myself, but I don't tell anybody. It's like,
right.
yeah. You know, the guy that cut in front of me at the grocery store is on the ground, right?
Yeah.
But it's got to be cool to have, you know, your family racing, and now you've got a little one on the way up to the race car. So enjoy that truck, because before too long you're going to be buying outlaw carts and bandoleros, man.
Oh yeah, we've already been looking just to get a head start. So, if
Patrick,
anybody's got
you got
an
anything? You got
feel free
anything
to send it
before
to
we
me.
send Andrew off on a little weekend off before he gets back in the truck?
Man, I just can't wait.
Patrick just loves truck racing. I tell you what, I'm excited for the trucks this year. You guys put on a heck of a show, obviously, and I think it's gonna be that way all year, especially with this NASCAR stuff. Patrick, you know, it's all NASCAR championships for you guys this year.
Yep, I love it.
All right, man. We're gonna set you free. We appreciate you coming in.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me. I do appreciate it, and thank you, Ryan. I've been seeing your comments. I just haven't had time to say anything. I'm glad to see you commenting on these. You know, very, very, very scary to hear what had happened, and I'm just glad you're all right. So.
Yeah, and we'll chat about Ryan here in a little bit after we talk to Lacey. And like I said, it's been one of those. The last couple of years have been full of a lot of our racing friends going through some hard times. And tell you what, the best thing on this one was getting a message from Ryan today. How do I watch the podcast, and where can I watch the races? So since he's got a little time on his hands, hanging out, you know, healing up. So, all right, man. Thanks for coming on. Patrick and I are gonna hit the interstate to Hermiston, Oregon here. We've got some of our local drivers going racing there. We're gonna bring Lacey in. So Andrew, we'll see you at the racetrack, buddy.
See you guys. Thank you.
See ya.
All right, Patrick. So there we go. What a show. I mean, he just from what I saw off of his mom's videos, that must have been an exciting race to watch.
I'm telling you, man, it was something. And with two mains same night, give me a break, man. It's a good night at the track, let alone the other handful of classes that are racing, you know. So it was just awesome. And to have the family there with me, you can't beat it, you know. It was great. So Andrew and Jenna were battling all night. It was so great. So
we've got a cool little Hermiston Raceway logo above your head up there. We're going to talk to Lacey. We have a pretty cool show. I love Hermiston Raceway. I got to watch a lot of races up there. I got to do one flow racing up there a few years ago, and they are getting ready to bring in the Speed Tour sprint cars. Let's get Lacey on here. My fat fingers put that right over your face. There you go, Patrick.
okay.
Hi, Lacey. Let me switch this up here a little bit. All right. So we got sprint cars at Hermiston Raceway and a whole lot more. Tell us a little bit about what's going on this weekend, and then we'll just chat a little bit about Hermiston and Tri-Cities and all the cool stuff you guys got going on in Eastern Oregon. But Mother Nature's going to help us out this weekend, it looks like, huh?
Yeah, well, thank you first off for having me on. It is absolutely beautiful out right now. I mean, it's 85 degrees. I'm just sitting out here, soaking in the sun. Tomorrow is going to be just as beautiful. So we're super excited about that. But we have a big sprint car show, very exciting, 17 sprint cars, speed tour sprint cars, excuse me, coming to town. So that's really exciting. We're really pumped up. We love sprint cars. We love open wheels. So we have that. We have West Coast vintage sprints, and we have vintage modifieds come in, mini stocks, Hornets, and the Midway Legends. So it's going to be a full show. It's going to be a busy night.
Busy.
Yeah.
Tell some of the fans over here on our end of the world. Like I said, I've had the opportunity over the years to head over to Hermiston and watch back in the days with the Super Sixes and all the cool stuff here lately. Tell us a little about the history of that track. I know your family's been a part of that for a long time as well, right?
Yeah, so my family was okay, I'm a third generation promoter. My grandfather started at Tri-City Raceway before it got shut down. And then we started going to Yakima, and then we were actually going to do Yakima. My dad was, and then Hermiston Raceway popped up, and we took our schedule over to Hermiston, and the rest is history. So I think we've been there since 2018, and it is a really unique track. It's super old, but so fun. I can't even explain to you the magic and the electricity, the vibes at that track is just absolutely incredible. We usually pack the stands. The fans are enthused. The racing's awesome. Very, very hard racing, that's for sure. And it's just amazing there. It's fun, and that makes all the difference.
Yeah, Patrick, you would love. I mean, so like I said, 2-3 years ago, we went there for the big Memorial Day Speed Tour show and got to do a little flow racing. And growing up at Meridian Speedway and Super Oval here, Hermiston was like right back to it's a great facility. It's got that historical feel to it. It was, and the racing was just outrageous every time we've been there. So tell us a little bit. You mentioned Tri-City Raceway. You guys got your hands in that and have had a few really good years bringing that back to life. Tell us how that all came about.
Well, the stars aligned perfectly, and it was something that was just so incredible how it happened. We're just really fortunate to be able to bring back the history to that track. After Hermiston had opened, we had been approached by the mayor to possibly reopen the facility, and it has taken a team. I mean, we have the dream team of all dream teams at Tri-City Raceway. Jesse Brown, Moose, all of them. My dad, of course, Greg, my grandpa, the Babcock family, the Johnston family. I mean, we're just so fortunate. It's taken that kind of team and work to make it what it's becoming and where it's going. And without that team, none of it would be possible. So we're just really, really fortunate to have that. And then all the competitors and fans that come. I mean, we wouldn't be able to do it without the teams. So a lot of people rallying behind Tri-City Raceway.
Right. But as far as Hermiston is concerned, I mean, I'm jealous. Some of the Speed Tour guys were headed out today, Brent and some of the guys who work with at the track. And my only comment to Brent was, you left without me, because I love watching sprint cars at Hermiston.
Came.
I know.
You're more than welcome.
Patrick and I might just play hooky I'll come and get you, Patrick, and we'll fly to Hermiston.
There you go.
So tell us about some of your different classes. I know Speed Tour sprint cars. We're all familiar with that. Some of the other stuff you got going on out there, it's some of it's a little unique, from what our normal stock car stuff we run here. So what are some of the different classes we're going to see, and what are they all about?
So we have a couple different touring divisions coming besides Speed Tour, and that is West Coast Vintage Racers, what vintage sprint cars, vintage modifieds, gorgeous cars. It's so cool to bring that kind of history back to Hermiston. I kind of feel like some of those cars raced there back in the day, and to see them back on the track is awesome. They put on a great show, and just the cars alone are just freaking awesome. We have the Vintage Modifieds, Northwest Vintage Modifieds. They put on a fantastic show. We've had them at Tri-Cities or Hermiston. They always come out in big numbers, and they're pavement pounders. We just love them. We have our Hornet class, which is our 4-cylinder starting division, but they are so electric. I mean, they usually start out our night, and I can tell what's going on during the race, even if I'm not looking at the racetrack, just by the crowd's reactions. And there's about 16 to 18 sometimes that come out. Most nights are about 16 or 17 of them, and it's fantastic racing. It's that grassroots racing that you love to see. We have mini stocks, and they're kind of hitting a rebuilding year this year. So we like to continue on keeping them, but they're fun size right now, that division. Then we have the Midway Legends. So we have our Legend division, and that has grown really, really strong. Last year, we've seen lots of numbers. Our season opener, which was April 20th, that's the last time they ran. I want to say we had 20 Legend cars, which was big for us. It was a rough night. Everybody had to shake the cobwebs off. So we're hoping for smooth sailing this race. But they always put on a fantastic show as well. So
That's like everything you could think you could dream of, Patrick. Patrick,
Yeah,
have you ever made it up to Hermiston?
I haven't, but everybody that I've heard talk about it, they say something along the lines of, you've just got to go there to really understand how cool it is. So I really want to go there.
It is. It's very, very old. But that old girl, she puts on an awesome show, and it's hard to explain. It's hard racing because the asphalt is all original, except for the patches that we put down. So it's really rough, and it's a unique shape, 3/8. It's great. You should really come out and see it. So we're inviting you to come out tomorrow night.
Come and get you, Patrick.
I'm scheduled to work at the day job tomorrow, but if I don't show up, I'm sick. I'm sick.
Yeah, just play sick. We can write you a note. No problem.
So if anybody asks, it's tuberculosis or something. You know what I mean?
You just tell the boss that the crew at Hermiston Raceway said you didn't have to work on Saturday. You can go back next week.
Yeah, I wish if that would fly, I'd be there.
Yeah, exactly. Ryan Bailey, Bob Copley says that, Bob's been around the 4-cylinder racing world with us. And Ryan, just letting you know that Bob says that the folks up there at Hermiston, great promoting skills. I mean, now you guys got your hands full. 2 racetracks, right? How do you juggle it? Are you guys running full schedules at each one, or are you kind of just trying to make it work through the summer?
So right now what we do is we have about 12 races at Hermiston, and then we have 4 signature events, but double days, most of them at Tri-City Raceway. And it's been a learning curve to learn how to do both, but then I also picked up a 3rd job. So it's been learning time management and the balance. So but when you love what you're doing, it just comes second nature. I love talking about it. I mean, there's so much to talk about and say, and it's so fun to be able to do that and to be able to compete against my fellow tracks, Jeremy Anders, Matt from State Line. We all kind of are in a competition. So we push each other, and that makes it extra fun. So we try our hardest to be better than Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy, I love to hear that.
He knows I'm kidding. He's my big brother, so it's okay
No,
to say that.
I've had the chance to announce Jeremy comes down to Meridian every now and then, and it's just really the majority of these tracks in the Northwest, just like one great big old family. We're just spread out by some interstates, and but it's without all of us doing our part, short track racing isn't really as alive in other parts of the country as it is up here in the Northwest, right?
That's right. We're really tight. And I feel like when you bring all those tracks together and unite, that just makes everybody united. And then it's just power in numbers. So once we're all together and linked up and not scheduling on top of each other, it makes it really easy to be able to spread that love and for our locals to go journey out to different racetracks and see them and experience them. And I feel like that's so important, and it's missed a lot. So
Right. I'll tell you what, Speed Tour sprint cars, we're a few races into the season. One of the few classes here in Meridian and Magic Valley that hasn't gotten rained out at least once or twice, because Mother Nature hasn't really been on our side. But I know the guys that I was at practice last night here at Meridian, the guys that were loading up and getting ready to head out. It's always one of those tracks they check, they want to make sure it's on their bucket list each and every year. Let us know, Lacey, as you guys get ready for some Tri-City stuff and other Hermiston races. We'd love to have you guys jump back on, throw us some drivers, throw whatever you want, because I don't know how it is in Eastern Oregon, but I know here in Southwest Idaho, the media coverage and that sort of thing just doesn't really do a lot for the short track. So I think we kind of all got to get together and do it ourselves, right, Patrick?
Yep.
I think it's fantastic what you guys are doing, and I greatly appreciate it. So we will definitely be back on and send some drivers your way for sure.
Okay. So Speed Tour sprint cars are powered by Pit Stop USA. They've powered up I-84 for some Saturday night thunder, Patrick. We'll see if we can get you out of work. We'll see if we can get up there. If we don't make it this time, we'll be back, because it's always a track I love to get to at least once a year. So, Lacey, we appreciate it. I know we got a lot going on in the next 24, 36 hours, so I hope you guys have a heck of a show up there this weekend. Awesome.
Thank you so much. And if we don't see you, we'll see you next time. But definitely try. We will write that note for you.
Yeah, Patrick's going to come to Meridian. We're going to leave all the kids at my house, and Patrick and I are going to hit the freeway, and we'll just, it's okay. I got a dog, a cat, and a door's lock. We'll be back.
Hey, you can bring the kids too. Just rent a big van and just drive with them. It will be good.
There you go, Patrick.
Maybe.
We get a school bus. We can bring both families. All
yeah,
school
bus. That's perfect. Problem solved.
Awesome, Lacey. Well, again, thanks for coming on. I just wanted to, like I said, we got so many of our tracks around the Northwest. We wanted to get you guys on and let the folks here on our side of the world know what's going on. And on a beautiful 80-degree day, maybe we can get some people headed out of the Treasure Valley over to Hermiston tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you. We look forward to seeing you all.
All right. Thanks, Lacey. Have a great weekend.
All right.
There we go, Patrick. We got racing everywhere.
Yeah, that's the good thing about, the sport that we love so much is there are tracks all around the place. And there might be one close to you that you just haven't heard about much or been to yet. And I hope that through this podcast and the people that we bring on, that somebody that's out there that hasn't been to their local racetrack will be willing to give it a shot. Give it a shot one time.
Right.
And I promise you'll have some point in the night where you go, maybe we should come and do this a little more often. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You'll get hooked.
Oh, I mean, Dusty and Tyler and Melissa and myself, like that a couple years ago, did a flow broadcast, followed the Speed Tour Modifieds and the Speed Tour sprint cars up there on a 2-day Memorial Day deal that's a big one. That's one that, Labor Day, September, into the Thunder deal. And it was some great racing, man. And it was, like I said, it is a step back because it's original. Everything's the original stuff that they had. So, hats off to that family and that group, because they put on a heck of a show.
Yeah. And we've seen, right, with similar, ownership running 2 tracks, we've seen how crazy it can get for some of those folks that have to figure out the balance and the calendar and everything and make it somehow work. Man, they've got their hands full, but they're definitely doing a good job.
Yeah. And like I said, they've got some stuff that you and I, that our neck of the woods, like those vintage modifieds and some different stuff that we just don't get that opportunity to see. So I urge anybody that's headed over to the Eastern Oregon area. And like I said, Jeremy Anders, we'll have him on from Wenatchee Valley Super Oval. They always put on some big shows. We'll get the guys from State Line because, like I said, there's parts of this country where you can't go find a short track. And then where we're at least we're within 2 or 3 hours of one, no matter which way you look. So.
Yeah, super lucky we are in that regard. And so, if you're near Twin Falls, check out the calendar for Magic Valley. If you're going to be around the Meridian Boise area, check out the schedule for Meridian Speedway. If you're headed up to Oregon, there's multiple tracks up there in Oregon, just check out the schedule. This type of thing, it's affordable to take the family to and have a good time. You're just going to have to trust me. I didn't grow up in the racing world like some of these guys and gals that we talk to. That wasn't me, I hadn't been to a racetrack until I was in my 20s, late 20s. And now I love that I get to spend almost every Saturday, every summer with my family at the racetrack. That's how I want it now. And people, they'll ask me, how long do you want to keep doing this? Till they kick me out or I'm dying, or I'll die in the booth. I'll be 98 in the booth.
I walked in 2004. Nobody's ever, I don't even know if anybody's rehired me, but I know dang well nobody ever fired me. So I just keep showing up. So, but it is great. And we talk about our kids and our families and all of that stuff. I mean, all mine are grown, and each and every one of them hung out in the booth at Meridian Speedway. If they didn't want to watch the races, they were watching their phones, and I was just handing them $5 bills to go get popcorn and Coke just to keep them occupied. Some of my kids had the chance to actually get out on the track and race, which is something that is a dream come true as a dad. And it's just something we got to keep rolling.
Yeah, it's a family thing, and it's families that keep it going, families that keep it fun, and that's what makes you want to come back, is it's a family thing. And whether you go with friends or family, you'll end up feeling like somebody's family.
Yes, and we got to go to Tri-Cities. You need to look up Tri-City Raceway when we're done here, Patrick. Big D-shaped oval. It's just an amazing facility, and Lacey and the family have brought it back to life. And they put on some great shows, and it's fast. It is the need for speed. That is it. So we got to get everybody together and go up there at some point. So there we go. Andrew Prince, heck of a run. But I do want to talk, it seems like, I don't know, man. It seems like every time we get on this show, we're talking about one of our dear friends that have, had some rough luck. Saturday night at Meridian, we were going to try to honor one of our greatest fans. We had a gentleman, Mike Clem, that 15 years ago, he was a retired police officer out of Kalispell, Montana, and he lived down the street from the Speedway. He wanted to know what it was all about, and he had his seat 3 rows up every night. And then just making friends in this, like you said, you guys show up at the racetrack, and next thing you know, you've got a family of 700 instead of 7, So like I said, it was 15 years ago. I talked to Mike's stepdaughter. He just wanted to get out and do something. As his health deteriorated, he was on a scooter. He walked with a cane the last few years, and friends at the racetrack donated him a scooter because they wanted him to keep coming. He ended up at a spot down at the pit concession stand. He hung out in turn 3 every time. We wanted to pay respects, and we will this Saturday, but Mother Nature was pushing us like really, really hard last Saturday night. We just wanted to at least get a main in. Unfortunately, though, we lost Mike a little over a week and a half ago. His wife passed away about this time last year, so it's good to know that if there's a good thing to know that they're together again, and he's going to be missed. I know a lot of us were sitting at our own picnic table getting ready to get the races started, and some of those things just aren't the same when you don't see him rolling around the corner. So to Mike Clem's family, one of the greatest, honestly the greatest fan, and he always wanted a Pepsi, but he always told the girls at the pit concession it was the hard stuff. So they would be like, "You want Pepsi with? We don't have the hard stuff." He's like, "Oh no, I can't drink that. I'm just kidding." So the folks at the pit stand, Mike would roll up and they'd give him the hard stuff, which was just a large Pepsi half ice, and he would sit there and enjoy the races with Bill Adams, one of our photographers at the racetrack. His wife Doris, who's an amazing volunteer and helper at the racetrack. Her and Mike sat in turn 3, right up against the fence for the last 15 years. Watched each and every lap and made friends. So to Mike's family, we want to, let him know that we're thinking about him. Here in a couple weeks, we'll go up to the Veterans Cemetery and pay the respects that he deserves. And then you wake up, and one of my good buddies that races out at Meridian Speedway, I'm having issues, so I'm just going to throw these pictures up over our faces, Patrick, because I don't know how else to do it today because it's been a long day at work. I tried to get a video up, but we couldn't get it rolling. Dear friend Ryan Bailey, right here with his wife, the good old 77. Ryan had a little bit of a, I'm not going to say a little bit, Ryan had a lot of an accident on an ATV last weekend. And it's scary. It's scary to see these guys that we watch each and every weekend, and you see, they're in an accident or they're hurt really bad. Ryan here. And like I said, Mike, it didn't matter what race car driver you were. You had to walk by Mike to get a hot dog and a Coke. And Mike was one of those guys that you couldn't help but stop and chat. So he's friends with all of them. Even Leo, our chef. It's just different when those people that you're used to seeing there aren't there anymore. But this guy right here, pilot of the 77, our dear friend Ryan Bailey. I'm going to read. Like I said, the coolest thing was, you hear this stuff and you're like, you don't really know how bad it is, right? I mean, all of us have our comfort zone. If I fall down the stairs, I'm going to tell you I stubbed my toe, and then I might not walk for 5 weeks. But, so it's like you never know how bad it is.
Yeah.
I reached out after the news came out, side-by-side accident. He was, he still is, but he's on the mend, but he was pretty banged up. I reached out to Jules, his wife, just to say, Patrick and I want to, talk about him, try to heal him up, but I always want to ask for permission. So I just want to read this from Jules, and then this was 2 days ago. So I'm thinking this is what we're going to talk about, right? Because Ryan's on the meds, he's getting all these surgeries and all the stuff. She did want to let everybody, because of course Facebook goes crazy on this stuff. Everybody's, what can we do and all of that sort of stuff. She said she wanted to let everybody know that the gratitude and outpouring of love that they have received in the last few days is beyond measure. And there's really not a whole lot they can ever say that can adequately be spoken to express their love, gratitude, and respect. Her words a couple of days ago, she felt like she was on the outside of a tornado watching the destruction, but still hoping that on the other side of that is beauty and light. Then today, as we're getting ready for this, I'm trying to find videos, and the little messenger thing dings, and it's Ryan after surgeries and trying to get things, back where they all belong. He's with us here on the show tonight, commenting, and that's probably the best news, the best news ever. But he's got a lot of laps. He's got a long road ahead of him.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite the fight still going. Got to get him back probably to 100%. But he's one of those guys, right? Where he's probably being told to take it easy, and taking it easy is finding a podcast that talks about racing so he can get on and talk about racing, right?
We're going to get him hooked up with speedcast.tv for the races this weekend, and a regular in the Pro 4 division for years with Kenny Chandler and the team, a champion, family. His brother raced, and the it's all the same. It's all the same stuff that we talk about. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there. Go to Ryan's Facebook page. You can also go to our Facebook page, our Pit Stop podcast page, because the family put together. Anytime you're laid up in a hospital, you're not working, things get tough, obviously. So there's a GoFundMe on there. If not, send us a message. If money isn't something you can help with, send us a message. I'll get in touch with Ryan and Jules, and we'll see what other help they need, because as this, it's like those things, when it first happens, everybody's like, oh, what what about 4 weeks down the line or 5 weeks down the line when, you know, we don't really need the money, but we need somebody to move this or lift this or help us fix that. So keep in touch with us. And but there's the GoFundMe on our page. And yes, Ryan, we'll keep your mind occupied. It's race cars. Of course, we're going to keep your mind occupied. But like I said, probably the best news, like I said, was seeing that message come across today, and it was from him. And you know, where's the podcast? And how do I watch the races? Because I've been away from racing the last couple of months. Just kind of took the year off after the from the Pro 4, and then now this is happening. So we'll keep him in our prayers more than anything. But like I said, whatever he needs, we'll be there. Even if you need me to tie your shoes, Ryan, or whatever, I'll do it. I can't tie my own, but I'll do it.
Yeah, we're weird like that, but we'll do that. Yeah, if that's what you need. But that's the great thing about this whole racing community, right? Is don't worry, Ryan. Like, we'll help you find racing to watch, and as soon as we can, get you on the podcast and that, and whatever we can, whatever we can do. So if you're out there and you can help with any, like Brent said, any money, sometimes it's just a message of encouragement, something like that. So on a rough day, knowing that people are behind you and supporting you can make a huge difference. So any help is appreciated.
So I just wanted to shout out to those guys, and more than anything to Ryan and the family. Dang it. I'm glad you're still here, and we're going to make sure that we get you out at the track. And like Patrick said, you're also going to be on this screen talking to us, telling us about the recovery and how excited you are to get on with life, because we may be getting old, but we're not old yet.
Yeah.
So let's get this stuff healing. And I tell you what, like I said, if I stubbed my toe, you wouldn't hear from me for 3 days. Ryan goes through this; he's already back on the internet, ready to get back into racing. So tougher man than me. Tougher man than me.
Me too.
I was like, so, but praying for you, buddy, and get well soon. So we want to get Ryan back on his feet. Help out if you can. If you got any questions, just reach out to us. We'll get you hooked up with the right people. So, other than that, Patrick, you got the week off this weekend from the Speedway. We got a dark day at Magic Valley, right?
Yep, no racing this weekend, and so I'm spending the weekend trying to score points with the Mother's Day weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there. We love you, and we appreciate all that you do. So I'm trying to score points now, so that maybe on the next off night at Magic Valley, we can maybe go to Meridian or somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
I'm telling you, we got the space. Let's throw some blankets down and watch some racing. No, we'd love to get you guys back up. It's crazy, but it's been a couple years already, since we've had you up there to jump in the booth with us. So you guys had ladies' night. It was a little chilly. Meridian's ladies' night is going to be 84 degrees and sunny.
Dang.
I mean, I had my winter coat on 6 days ago.
Yeah.
Crying because I didn't think we were going to race. We had a heat race and a main event. We did what we could. Tomorrow in the mid 80s and sunny. And ladies get in free at Meridian Speedway tomorrow night. So that's a heck
So
of a
everybody
Mother's
take your
Day
mom.
weekend. Yeah, take your mom.
Mother's Day. Boom.
Yep. Just what else would you rather do? Just grab the mom, grab all the daughters, the girls. It's going to be a heck of a weekend. RC Willie helping us out. Magic Services, Perfect Plumbing, Heating, and Air. They are a new sponsor. They sponsor Samantha Raymond in the Idaho CDL Training Street Stocks, and they're also jumping on board with some trophy sponsors this year.
Very cool.
So those folks are on board tomorrow. The NASCAR Modifieds will be back. I feel sorry for those guys because our 2 rainouts at Meridian, NASCAR Modifieds. So we got to get these guys some main events to get back in the hunt for the regional and national championships. NASCAR late models. We had 7 of them 2 weeks ago at a race. I know you guys have had in the 4 to 5 range down there with the NASCAR late models.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, Patrick, 9 at practice. And that was without some of the Dylan Caldwells, the Melissa Weavers, some of the regulars weren't at practice. So NASCAR late models are going to put on a show tomorrow, I have a feeling. The Idaho CDL Training Street Stocks are going to be back out. Domino's Legends. Stingers, and the kids in the Bandoleros.
That's
Come
going to
back
be
up and ready.
a great Mother's Day weekend at the track for you guys. And with the weather that it's going to be, I'm jealous, but I'm just happy because that's the time of year we're at now. We're going to get into all the sun and all the fun.
Yes, 80 degrees. I'm ready for it. Tomorrow night's events are going to be on speedcast.tv. So, Patrick, when you get home from work, pop some popcorn, grab the kids,
Yes.
watch a little stock car racing, all the stock cars in the house. And what are you guys doing next at Magic Valley? I haven't even looked. I got my official cheat sheet. The 18th is, the Outhouse Grand Prix.
Yeah. So I had just finished interviewing Andrew Prince in Victory Lane, and Adam Nelson comes over and says, Patrick, you're going to make your debut in the Outhouse Grand Prix. I don't really know what that means.
I've done it.
Oh, you've done it?
Yeah.
Do tell, because I don't know what's going on, but I just know I'm involved.
I don't want to tell you. I just want to watch.
Oh, no.
So here's when I did it, and I'm sure Adam's going to do just about the same thing down there. You have an outhouse, right? We got toilet paper in the outhouse. We'll bring an outhouse out onto the infield at Magic Valley next week. Get in a race car, a bomber, a Hornet, whatever. You go one lap around the track. You have to unbuckle, jump through a little obstacle course, go into the outhouse, grab 1 foot of toilet paper, go back through the obstacle course, and cross the start-finish line. Whoever gets closest to 1 foot of toilet paper is the winner. And then we'll time you too, just in case it's a tie. You gotta be. I mean, athletes like you and me, it's not a problem.
You did that?
Yeah.
How close to a foot were you?
I mean, it was like 18 inches because I was so out of breath. I was going to use 6 inches of it to wipe the sweat off my face before I went out in front of everybody again. No, Brian Duvall, a good friend of mine that has helped me when I was racing and when my kids were racing. He's like, here's the car. Here's the helmet. Go do it. I'm like, all right. It was fun. So Adam will get some of the drivers involved, and you guys all have a blast. It's one of those cool things that the promoting group puts on and puts together, and you guys will enjoy it along with some great racing that night too.
Hey, they always make sure that we have a good time, so I just can't wait.
So yeah, ladies' night tomorrow night. Twin Falls is on the off week.
Mm-hmm.
Again, we want to thank Andrew Prince, Ryan Bailey for coming on and chatting with us. It's nap time. That means the painkillers have kicked in. Ryan's going to go take a little snooze. So we hope he gets better. And Andrew, we appreciate you coming on and hanging out and helping us as well. So there we go, man. You got the day job now, so we'll try to hook up one evening a week. We'll get the show on the road here and see what everybody's up to, right?
Yep, it'll be good now. The evenings are freed up, so we can lock down our schedule a little bit better. So it's just going to improve from here.
All right. So there we go. We'll let you get back with the family. 7:30. I have to. I just walked in from work, so I have to eat my dinner real quick. Ice cold Pepsi. I tell you, man, I can get off work at 4:30 or 5 any day of the week. And the one day that we plan this, never happened. I had to feed the dogs, go buy dog food first on the way home because we ran out. You don't want to know. You don't want to know. Meridian Speedway, Speedcast.tv. Tomorrow night, 6:30, Dusty and the crew will be putting on another great production, Don Kithcart. And then we'll go racing ladies' night. Ladies are free. Get there early. 85 degrees and sunny in downtown Meridian. I'm going to get there early. I want the best seat in the house. Look, even the dog behind you is ready to go.
That's Luna, one of the ladies, so she could get in free even. But shout out to all the ladies. Take all your women friends, your moms, your wives, sisters, whoever it is. They get in free. Just say it's on you.
But if you're taking your wife, I wouldn't bring the rest of your woman friends. That could turn into an ugly night at the race.
Well, as long as that friend's like your mom or your aunt, right? Or your sister. You know what I mean? Yeah. Be careful. Okay.
You know the way these people are around here. Cool, man. Well, tell your wife Happy Mother's Day, and I hope you guys enjoy the weekend with the kids. We're going to go racing. We got a Mother's Day celebration here. Kendra Achapenti, street stock driver, celebrating a birthday on Sunday as well.
Hey, all right.
So happy birthday to her, but we'll really embarrass her tomorrow night at the racetrack.
I love it. Happy birthday, Kendra.
There we go. All right, buddy. We'll catch you next week. Enjoy your weekend off. And again, tell everybody happy Mother's Day. And we'll be back next week with some previews of the Outhouse Grand Prix. Maybe I can find some video for you, and we'll throw it up from years past.
Let's do it.
All right, man. We'll talk to you next week. And thanks everybody for coming on. And we'll see you at the races.